Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday. How are you doing? So it's Kirsten Liebelt. It's Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time-ish, 10-ish, 10-ish. I had to grab like an extension cord really quickly. And so I'm like, you guys, so we went on, last week we went to Dallas. I'm in Minnesota. Hi, it's nice to meet you. So we went to Dallas for a business leadership. And from the minute I left my home last week, I do not know what I did yet with my phone cord and my iPad cord. Poof, they disappeared. My husband thinks, and I mean, I don't remember seeing them literally since I left my house. So they never showed up. They never showed up in my luggage. They never showed up in my purse. They literally just never showed up. And so my husband is like, you know what? Maybe when you were in the airport, you put them in a bucket and basically maybe that's where you forgot to grab them. And I'm just like, I just refuse to believe that. So anyway, I have this really fun concoction going on with an extension cord here. I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'm a resourceful person. Okay. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Good to see you guys. Welcome in. So today, this is what I want to talk about. Okay. First of all, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay and let me know where you're coming in from. And then second of all, today is Be Defiant Day. Can you see my hat? Today is Be Defiant Day. And that's because today in the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, we're going to go through the ingredient trade out. So every single month for 15 months. This is our 15th challenge. We've done a free challenge in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Yesterday was day one of the August 5-day challenge. And I went through some of my background, my Italian background, and why this is just my most authentic story. Like my dad died of type 2 diabetes when he was 63. I had obesity and type 2 all over my Italian family. We were taught to really celebrate and mourn with food, both. And some of that journey that I have walked through that I now can teach from. So today we're going to do ingredient trade outs. And I feel like this is so helpful for so many people because there's so much noise. Would you agree that there is so much noise in the marketplace when it comes to food and all of the different messages that we have? And what I like to do is I like to come to the table and say, okay, if you are on my content, it is probably because you are insulin resistant or you think you are. And I am here to tell you that if you're having a hard time losing weight, or if you just keep on gaining weight, like this was me in my 40s, I'm 59 now, then what if you're insulin resistant? What if all you have to do is change your glasses as to how you're viewing your weight loss? It's a really valid question, you guys, because when your sugars and your insulin are high, you can't lose weight and you're stuck and you're like on this hamster wheel and you're so freaking frustrated and you don't feel like you're getting the answers that you want, maybe at your provider, etc. And all you can hear is the noise of eat this, don't eat that. It's all about balance. You know, that's too restrictive, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to be the one to tell you the truth. There are lots of other people that I've learned from. So it's not just me alone. But I want to tell you the truth because once you are insulin resistant, the game changes a little bit. It's not a bad thing though. It's really not. I thought it was going to be very, very hard for me to change out my ingredients, change out my foods, do all the things. And you guys, it was easier than I thought it was. It took me some time just because I needed to deal with this. Remember, I always tell you, I have to move these so that I don't flip these on the floor. When I teach targeted supplements, this is easy. This is easy. This is harder. This is harder. Okay. But that's why we do the group. All right. So that you can get all the support and encouragement that you need. Okay. So what I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk about, I did one the other day on vegetables because what people don't understand is that when you stop spiking your sugars so that you can stop calling on so much insulin, so that insulin can stop. Good morning, Cheryl. Boo to noise. Boo To noise. Yes. Noise. You go away right now. Leave Cheryl alone. I have a feeling that you're not alone. I have a feeling. But when you start to eat food so that you are not spiking your sugar, so that you're not calling on so much insulin, so that you're not storing so much fat, because insulin is a hormone that stores fat when it can't get it into your cell. I can go into that in just a little bit, maybe a little more clearly, but like it's a fat storing hormone. So if you're wondering why you're so like running and not getting anywhere, this is why, potentially, right? So, but we keep on eating things because they're healthy. We keep on eating things because they are the way that they're supposed to be. So let's go through some of the fruits that are actually messing us up, since we already did some of the vegetables. How does that sound? I remember my dad, insulin dependent, living on bananas and oranges. I'm just saying. Not good at all. And he had, in my opinion, he had really, really bad advice from his nutritionist or whoever was giving him food advice when it comes to, what to be eating as a type 2, like terrible, terrible advice. And so he was constantly chasing his sugars. He was constantly, putting out fires with insulin, or it was either insulin on one hand, or it was orange juice on the other hand, or it was just, I look back and I just shudder because that information was so bad. And I have a feeling that we haven't come that far from there. So let's talk about the 10 highest carb fruits per cup. Let's see which ones that you're surprised at, or let's see the ones that, you just need to kind of get rid of. You already knew, but you needed to get rid of. Julie says, yeah, my iPad, we'll see how well that does on the way I'm doing this here. Julie says, oh, that's why. Hold on just a second. I have to do something. Let me fix my world. There we go. Okay. Julie says, blueberries, apricots, watermelon here in Italy. Yes, I'm sure that's true. I don't think those are on the low sugar list. All of them. The blueberries are for sure. But oh my gosh, apricots and watermelon. I haven't had those in a long time. I bet they're amazing in Italy, Julie. I bet they're amazing. Have such a good time. All right, let's get going. Top 10 highest carb fruits per cup. Let's see which ones surprise you. Number 1, or is that the highest? Let me go to the highest. I don't know why they didn't do these in order. That's really weird. I'll do it myself. Number 1 is dates. I love dates. My husband's grandma used to do date pinwheel cookies. Oh, and then when I was transitioning my foods, I would go and buy medjool dates because it's natural, right? It's real food, and that was what I was doing, and that's okay. Good morning, Anna. Good to see you. Good morning, Marissa. Good to see you. And but at least I was getting off of refined sugar was my thought process. But in the meantime, I was really spiking my sugars bad. And I didn't understand. And this is whatever. It kind of stuck me. But anyway, dates. This is the highest one, you guys, so don't freak out. 101 grams of carbs per chopped cup. That's really, 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 really high. The other ones are not this high. 101 grams per chopped cup of dates. You guys, that's really high. And don't get me wrong, this is why I loved them so much. I bought them every week. This is why when I was getting off of my processed foods in my earlier 50s, I was like, oh, dates are good for me. Like candy, right? Number 2 would be, actually, this is surprising to me. This is the one that surprised me. Pomegranates. My Italian family sat at the kitchen table. Like I can close my eyes and transport myself to my Auntie Bridgie's house. And in the kitchen, my Italian grandma lived in one part of the home and her family lived in the other part of the home, and the kitchen was in the middle. And my Italian grandma would come out. My maiden name is Fergali. She would come out and she would sit at the kitchen table and she would cut a pomegranate and she would pick out the seeds of the pomegranate and eat it. And just think about this, all of the obesity and the type 2 in my Italian family. And we're dining on fruits, right? Because this is what we're told is healthy for us. But you see, when you're insulin resistant, the game changes. Okay. So pomegranates, 32 grams of carbs per cup. That's number 2. Number 3, let's go to figs. Figs have fig Newtons. My dad lived on fig Newtons. Like, we always had fig Newtons, which I understand is even worse than just the figs. We always had fig Newtons in our home. Like, common, normal cookie to have in my house. 29 grams of carbs per cup of figs. Oh my gosh, you guys, you're just joining me. You're just like joining me in my world as I live through my childhood. That's what we're doing here. You're just joining me. Oh my gosh. Number 4, pears, 27 grams of carbs. Number 5, I think, grapes, 27 grams of carbs. Number 6, these are all the same, these 3. Bananas, 27 grams of carbs. Then we jump down to the last 2 are apples are 25 grams of carbs and mangoes are 25 grams of carbs. Okay, per cup. So let's do that again. Dates come in at 101 grams of carbs. Pomegranates, 32 grams of carbs per cup. Figs, 29 grams of carbs per cup. Then we have a tie between pears. Oh, hold on, I forgot one. Pears, grapes, and bananas are 27 grams. Mangoes are 25, cherries are 25, apples are 25, pineapple is 22. So which ones are surprising you? Fig Newtons are yummy. Used to eat them. I used to eat them all the time. I love fig Newtons. What's better than, wow, you just bought some. What did you buy, Marissa? I would love to know what you just bought. Yeah, I know. Love fig Newtons. I know. I understand. And what's better than, like, you match up all of that yummy flour and sugar with the actual fig and turn it into a cookie. Like, seriously, you guys, this is why my dad was, he was taking 2 shots of insulin a day, and he didn't have, none of this to educate yourself in the 90s and the 80s. Nobody's educating you on video. You are literally solely relying on whatever your doctor is telling you, unless you go to your shelf and you open up perhaps an encyclopedia because you bought them by the set and you had them on the shelf in your house. And those were the Bible of knowledge, was the volumes of encyclopedias that you paid a fortune for to have in your house. So it's not like, number 1, my dad was ever looking in an encyclopedia. That's not true. But number 2, you are only listening to what your doctor is telling you to eat. Okay. And they're going to tell you balance, honey. It's all about balance. BS. No, it's not. Not when you are insulin resistant, not when you are insulin dependent, type 2 diabetic. I mean, it is just criminal to me. And my dad's health went like this, and nobody ever gave him proper answers, in my opinion. I'm sure that was mixed with him not listening as well, if anybody gave him any interesting information, good information. You eat figs almost every day from your backyard. Oh my gosh, fresh figs. Are you kidding me? Oh, wow. I don't know how I would say no to, but those are pretty high. The figs were 29 grams of carbs per cup. That's a lot. If you are trying to not spike your sugars, and let's talk about that cycle here in just a second. You didn't know grapes were that high. Yep. Grapes are really high. Hold on. How about oranges and plums? Oranges are very high too. Yep. Geez, cherries and pears. Yep. So let me look up oranges and plums. Hold on. I will ask the question on that one. Oranges and plums, carbs per cup. Let's find out. Oranges are 21. Plums are 18. They're all high. This is why I tell people I literally only eat berries. Now, I am not type 2 diabetic. And I'm probably more metabolically flexible than I was when I started this journey 8 years ago, right? So let's pretend I'm like Julie and I'm in Italy and I eat something that's not normal what I'm eating here in the States, like she was saying, apricots or watermelon. I'm probably going to bounce back pretty fine because Number one, I'm not on any scripts. I am not type 2. I'm the only one in my family that avoided type 2 because I did this, because I started with supplementation and I changed the way my engine was working. Okay, that's the trio that I talk about, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity. Okay, so because I did that, I avoided it. So I'm in a different place. But if you are type 2 and you are having a hard time keeping your sugars down, especially, etc., like, you can't be playing around with all of this, because you're like, I watched it happen the last 10 years of my dad's life. Like, I'm not kidding. To say that he lived on oranges and bananas and skim milk and Cheerios and Rice Krispies. And I mean, like, what the heck? But according to the food pyramid, no, it's not the same once we're insulin resistant. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I have to remember what's a touchpad and what's not. Yeah, wow. Which berries? All berries, Athena. All berries. Good grief, I know. What fruits are not berries, Penny? Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Those are your friends. And I'm going to tell you why they're your friends right now. Let's do that. Let's talk about why berries are the better choice. I just make everything out of berries when I want them. Now, if berries are, I actually have, so in my line, in my supplement line that I talk to you guys about all the time, right? We talk about the trio, ashwagandha, turmeric, vitamin D, the purple packet. We talk about all these different, supplements that literally changed my world, because I was not a supplement person other than like ibuprofen. And I was not a good eating person because I'm Italian. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. And so I did these first, and then I traded out my ingredients, and I talk about both of them in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. We're in the middle of a 5-day challenge right now. We do that free every month. My point being that when I live in Minnesota, so one of the things that I do have access to, and I'm looking over at my stuff right now. I don't have it right available to me. There is if you look up on my website, when you're on there looking at vitamins, look at berries immunity powder, and they have taken organic berries and put them into a powder form. So in Minnesota, I can't get to pay for organic berries in January. It's like you mortgage your house. And then they've been picked so long ago and shipped to me that the nutrient level is so low, right? And so I have to rely on other things. So that might be you too. Now, if you're picking figs in your backyard, you probably are, you probably have a good berry growing season. I'm just saying. But here in Minnesota, like, I just literally don't even buy berries at the store anymore, because I'm not willing to compromise. I'm not a perfect ingredient person. I'm not. I have my little things that I have a gray area on too. No problem. Everybody can have this, because I'm not presenting myself as this perfect person. But when it comes to berries and when it comes to greens, I'm going organic, or I'm not buying it all, except if I'm in a restaurant. Then I'm not asking if they're organic, because I know that they're not. I'm not expecting them to, but it's just so very few and far and in between. It's not, I hardly ever do that. Like, I'm hardly ever at a pancake house having eggs and asking for fruit as my side. You know what I mean? Like, that's not just common. So there's a berry immunity powder that is organic, like USDA certified organic. Amazing. So if you need organic berries in your life to add into your full fat Greek yogurt, or I just bought a Ninja Creamy Deluxe, like, I can put that in my ice cream. Okay. Moving on from there. What if you don't like berries? I know, Lucille. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. It just has to do. Can you see my remarks? You can't anymore. Cheryl, let me see what I can see from you. I know when I get off on because of StreamYard, hit and miss, hit and miss. I see you say, wow. And then of course the fruits I'm not fussy about. And then, can you see my remarks? I can't anymore. Let me know if you said something more than that. And then before that, it was good grief. And you know what? Fruits are just, again, we're just living. God didn't make bad food. He made really good food. We just messed it up. And now our bodies need to turn back around and heal. And so as we're turning back around insulin resistance, I just give you a completely different track to run on. I talked to you about targeted supplementation. That's where the testimonies are coming from. You can go to the Instagram page. TikTok, you can jump over. There's an icon on my profile. If you go up to my face, click on my face again, it'll take you out of the live. And there's an Instagram like portal, and it will just whoosh you over to Instagram. And at the top of Instagram, there's a highlight bubble. It's a pink highlight bubble, and it has the testimonies of the trio. So I always talk about targeted supplementation and then ingredient trade outs. Be defiant. Be defiant. Be defiant. That's what today is. Today is Tuesday. We're doing ingredient trade outs in the Facebook group today as a part of the 5-day challenge. So that's why I'm wearing this hat today. Be defiant to your habits and your routines. So I'm going to give you ingredient trade outs, and then we're going to do this challenge every month. And that gives you a track to run on that actually works and can take you into a different spot. And so that's what excites me about that. So when it comes to you have intolerance to iodine, that's super interesting, Lucille. And that's challenging then for thyroid. That's super challenging. Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. So when it comes to fruit, this is the way that this works. And then I'm going to tell you why berries I'll give you some information on that. When you're just a normal person with a normal, healthy, metabolic functioning system, you eat something and it turns to glucose because your body prefers glucose for fuel, just like, like whatever fuel a wood stove would want, right? It prefers glucose. So it turns everything into glucose. But if you eat something like steak or eggs, it's going to just turn it into a little tiny bit of glucose. And your insulin that goes to gobble it up and take it into your cell, it doesn't need that much insulin to counteract that and get it into your cell for energy. But we've created this lifestyle where we wake up in the morning, and from the minute we wake up until the minute we go to bed, we're constantly spiking our sugars really high. And over time, we're creating more and more insulin, more and more insulin. And after a while, the cell where this insulin is trying to shuttle the glucose into the cell, after a while, the cell does this and says, yeah, we're pretty much closed for business because we're stuffed. That's insulin resistance. That's now the land that you're living in, okay? So your cell is stuffed. So I explain this because I feel like this helps people to make better decisions. You're no longer making decisions because, oh, you're denying yourself and life is so hard and isn't this terrible? And my friend can eat whatever she wants and she's eating figs out of her backyard and she's skinny as a rail. Although you can be insulin resistant and skinny too. It's just not as common. Side note. But what happens then is you keep on spiking your sugars, even though your cell is closed. Okay. That's what's happening. And spike, 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 spike. Now it's finally maybe even showing up on your blood glucose levels, even though you've been doing this with your insulin for years. And you were insulin resistant for a very long time before this showed up. And they should have been testing your insulin, not your glucose. That's another conversation. But your pancreas keeps on making more and more insulin because it thinks it's not doing a good enough job. Now you have high inflammation and it can't get it into the cell, so it stores it all as fat because it's a fat storing hormone. So every time you're like, you know what, grapes aren't so bad. No big deal. You know what? I'm not willing to give up oranges. Bananas are my thing. I'm not willing to switch. That's fine, except that now you're spiking your sugars. The insulin is going to increase. It's going to try to shuttle it into the cell. It can't get into the cell. And now you've got more back fat, more belly fat, more fat in between your knees, more fat everywhere. And you're wondering, why can't I lose weight? What is wrong with me? I'm just a loser. I've never had any willpower anyway. This is never going to work for me. Negative, 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 negative. This is the cycle that we live in as women, right? Instead of, oh, hold on. So what you're telling me is that if my insulin and my sugars are high, I literally can't lose weight. Like, this is a scientific conversation. This is a biological conversation. Okay, and insulin is a hormone. So this is actually a hormone conversation, not a calorie in, calorie out conversation, not a balance conversation, not a don't be eating too restrictive conversation. Now this is a different universe that we're dealing with. And when it makes sense in here, finally you go, oh, well, I kind of would rather burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. Let's do that. What does that look like? Well, if you deny your body the sugar that it wants, gobble, 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 Pac-Man, insulin coming to get your sugar. If you keep that low and it gobbles just a little tiny bit, it eventually goes into your fat reserves and it burns your fat for fuel. All of a sudden now you're putting oak logs into your fire furnace instead of pine. You're fuller, you're happier, your hormones are really happy, your blood sugar levels are stable, you're burning oak, which is burning fat. Now the fat pockets start to go down. I'm not saying it happens overnight. Don't be confused. But now all of a sudden the inside of your knees look better and you're like, dang, I thought that was never going to go away. That's what can begin to happen when you burn fat for fuel. So you can lose weight. You can lose 100 pounds and still never lose a lot of fat pockets. It's just a different way of thinking altogether. So hold on. You're back and you can see comments. Yay, Cheryl. High inflammation story of my life. Yes. Not everything in moderation conversation. I know. And it's a tough one because we have a lot of people around us that are going to talk to us about moderation, moderation, moderation. And they're going to tell you things like, they're going to make you question. Like, listen, that is so restrictive. That is too restrictive. That's not a lifestyle. You're never going to maintain that. Says who? Says the cereal companies? Says who? The ones that are trying to sell you oat milk? Are you freaking kidding me? I talked yesterday about how I saw a lot of people with the glucose monitors on their arms at Costco on Sunday. Makes me happy. Makes me very happy. But then they're eating the samples that are granola and oat milk. Your sugars are going to go through the roof. Oat milk is literally the worst because oats, especially when you refine them and you take out all fiber completely, and you just literally have the quote unquote milk. We know that it's not milk, but you know what I mean. Very high sugar spiking, very, very high. And so we've just been marketed to, when you can separate out the marketing from the truth, man, your life gets good, you guys. Because then you kind of giving the finger to the marketing a little bit, kind of giving the system the finger a little bit, and you're becoming defiant. You're like, yeah, you're lying to me again. You're lying to me because you're going to sell me your cereal, or you're going to sell me your oat milk and tell me that that's healthy. No, that's not. Let's talk to all the girls that have PCOS. It really fires me up. Can you tell? Okay, berries. Let's get into this just for a second. Thank God you found me. You're over here yelling, yes, yes, yes. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Yes, I know. I'm Italian. This benefits me because I'm like, I don't care what anybody else thinks, man. I am mad. I'm still like frustrated over the system, and that how can my dad be dead since 1995 and we're still having this conversation? How can this possibly be true that 28 years later, we're fatter than we were in 1995? We're more medicated than we were. We're having more heart attacks and strokes. And how? Aren't we supposed to be like a society that's like, we're getting better all the time, more technology, more invention, more creativity, more patents, more, oh my gosh, like we're just a society on fire for everything good. And yet here we are, so medicated. It's common to have 3 medications in your 50s. Stop it. And we sit around and, so I'm a Christian, and I know that not everybody that follows me is a Christian, but even in the church, we sit around and we go, it's okay, honey, I'm depressed too. I'm on antidepressants too. Now listen, that's not a judgment. It's a gut conversation. Let's talk about your gut. We have other conversations that are not being had because the only conversation somebody's going to have with you once you cross over and you open the door to the matrix, and I'm not telling you not to go there. I am not. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Don't misread my words. We need healthcare providers, but 99.9% of the time when you open that door, they're going to give you a script as an answer because it's what they're trained in and because it's what they're, as institutions, paid to do. Okay, right? We're not confused. If you're on my content, you're probably not confused as to what I'm saying as I speak in code. And you all know why I have to, right? That then even deepens the conversation. If we have to speak in code and we can't actually say names of scripts and we can't say names of industries because we'll get shut down, who do you think the power belongs to? So all I'm saying is that maybe there are alternatives that we can be having these conversations about so that we can literally hello, we're in like the 21st century. What in the world? If we have AI and we're obese and sick and dying at young ages from type 2, which is not a terminal diagnosis, something is wrong. Somebody's not telling us the truth, or they're just really committed to very bad information. They're like all in on the bad information. Yeah, we are lied to. We are. I know, and it's frustrating. You're so sick of being sick. I get it. Barb, you agree. Thank you for all the information. Yes, you are welcome, Barb. It's the marketing. So I give people a completely different track. If you are willing to give scripts a try, if you are willing to even consider $1,200 a month injections, if you're just willing to whatever, if you've never tried targeted supplementation, will you consider that too? I had somebody who reached out to me in July. I've said it before. I've been following you for a year and I'm finally starting the trio. There are 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity. Literally helped me avoid type 2 in my family. And I'm the only one, to the point where even my Swedish mother ended up with type 2 in her 80s, ended up with dementia, because type 2 is insulin resistance. Type 3 is insulin resistance of the brain. Okay. So she ended up with dementia. We ended up taking care of her. Super simple. If you're already in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, will you go to guide number 4 and look at the testimonies? If you're on Instagram or you want to jump over to Instagram, I'm the same everywhere. Kirsten Liebelt, Kirsten Liebelt, Kirsten Liebelt. I'm the same everywhere you go. Kirsten Liebelt, unless you're on my personal page and then you're seeing Kirsten Fergali Liebelt. Go to my Instagram. Give yourself 5 minutes today. Pink highlight bubble at the top. Testimony, 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 testimony. Sugars coming down, weight coming down. 3 simple supplements. This is very basic start, right? Very basic. This is not rocket science, but then I want to teach you ingredient trade outs. So get into the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And we're doing the challenge right now. We're in the middle of it. 2:00 Central Standard Time every day this week. Can the trio help people who have already diabetes? Yes, Matt. Always somebody who is on scripts, you have to make your own decisions. I haven't had any conflicts, but I just want people to be their own advocates to the highest level possible, right? So, yes, that would be exactly. And I can tell you, sugars come down slow. Yes. Sometimes sugars take a year, those morning sugars. Now, I've had it happen very fast where somebody brought her morning sugars down 30 points in 2.5 months. So it's different for every person. But that was my dad's life, was type 2 kidney failure. My mom had renal cancer. And so she was told to eat high carb, low protein, bad advice. But anyway, and then when we took her out of the system, we basically fed her a keto diet, put her on supplementation, and we brought her A1C down fast. That's, and that was after 20 years of her kidneys, whatever. Because if you just look at the supplements, Matt, they're basic. We're talking trace minerals and herbs. We're not talking about anything that's conflicting. There's no adaptogenic herbs in there, which is really good. Yours are right. Tell me that. Oh, yours are at night? At night they're high? How soon do you see changes? So yesterday I was talking about this because I know that it can be frustrating. I do have so many amazing testimonies. I wrote them down yesterday, I gave some disclaimers because I don't want people to be discouraged, but I do want you to understand that this is some of the testimonies that you'll see on the Instagram profile. 5.5 pounds in 5 days, 5 pounds in 7 days, 9.5 pounds in 3 weeks. These are texts that came to me. 9.5 pounds in 3 weeks, 25 pounds last year over Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, 10 pounds in a month, 23 pounds in 10 weeks. So these are the ones that I had just written down quickly from the guide number 4 in my group yesterday before I went live, because it is true that this and plus more. But then there is somebody who will come along and their healing journey is different because maybe they're on a ton of scripts. Maybe their binging is a little out of control and you cannot out supplement. Let's pretend you're eating McDonald's 3 times a day or whatever, and you're not making any gains or ground, in your eating. Now, some people are already doing pretty well and they will say to me, I've lost 10 pounds and I haven't even switched out my foods yet. But subjectively, what does that mean for that person? How were they eating beforehand? Maybe they were tweaking and they haven't gotten perfect yet, but that trio kicked them into gear. Do you understand? So results can be fast, but results can also look like healing and taking time, where somebody that she was taking the trio for 6 months and her fasting insulin was coming down. She also has very, very high cortisol. So when I talk about high cortisol or high inflammation, you'll hear me talk about, I have an organic ashwagandha that has shifted my life since May when they launched it. I'm just going to tell you that. My sleep is amazing. Ashwagandha is an adaptogenic herb that helps with stress, sleep, and mood. It's really, really good. Some people are like their inflammation is boo to the moon. Then I might talk to you about turmeric and how most turmerics are not very bioavailable into your body. This one happens to be 45 times more available. Taking 400 milligrams of what I take every day in turmeric, which is, look at this bright orange. This is amazing. It's gorgeous. Smells really fun because it has fenugreek in it, which helps with sugars. But this is 45 times more bioavailable. So it's like taking 400 milligrams of this is like taking 6,000 milligrams of another brand. So if you need to bring your inflammation down, everybody's different. So I just want to be as honest as I can possibly be. And I just tell people this, listen, I'm not going to say, oh, magic, look over here, magic pills. No, but I am going to say, listen, I will walk with you on the journey. This is why I have the Facebook group and we're on our 15th monthly challenge. I will teach you how to trade out your ingredients and I will do this with you. I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s. Since my cycle stopped, I started at like just shy of my 51st birthday, changing out ingredients. Now I'm 59. I'll be 60 in January. And there's a 6-month guarantee on all the products. Like, you're not going to lose out on anything. I mean, I can promise you that you have nothing to lose. I can promise you that. But there's no way that I can take in everybody's factors and piece them together and tell you what your results are going to be. I can't do that. And I would never make claims because, number one, that's against best practices. Like, I can't do that with supplements, but I can repeat claims that they make because they would never, ever, ever compromise having their own company shut down. So when they say that this is 45 times more absorbable, I can repeat that. When they say that this helps with discomfort and pain, which most people would never put pain on their, like, that's a red flag. Like, you could get in trouble for that. But again, they wouldn't compromise. So if they say that, I will repeat that. But otherwise I won't make. It feels like magic. Tell me why it feels like magic to you. I can share testimonies. I want to know why it feels like you're losing weight. Oh, I'm so excited. Tell me what your story is. I love listening to your guys' stories. What makes it more absorbable? Beth, that's a great question. I think it's the way that they do it. I think it's the medium. Is that maybe what I'm trying to say? It's an extract. They grow their own organic and they put it into an extract form. And I have a feeling that the fenugreek is in there for a reason. Like that's not just a random, they are so known for their blends. Their blends are phenomenal. So there's a reason why there's fenugreek in here. I wonder if that's not a way that it's helping it to get into the system. I'm making that up, but oftentimes I guess kind of right, just because I know the thought process behind things a little bit. But also too, as a side note, fenugreek is really good for sugars. You were in a wheelchair and you couldn't walk to the mailbox. Lisa, tell me more. You are such a great testimony, Lisa. What's the name of the group? You missed it. Brand new here, type 2, fighting to reverse it. 30 pounds left to lose. Sherry, you can do it. Ditch insulin resistance for women. Get in there, and at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time today, I will go live, and today is day number 2 of the 5-day challenge. We're going to do ingredient trade outs today. Now you can clean your house and chase your puppy. Lisa, you make me so happy. Kristen, did somebody say I have good skin? Yeah. Well, you guys, okay. So, and I know people don't believe me. Some people do. Lisa will believe me because Lisa's using the skincare. Somebody else just got really excited about the skincare. You found it, Matt. Good. Would this work for arthritis? Kathy. Are you talking about the inflammation, Kathy? Where do I get this? You found it. Good. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Matt. I apologize for not tracking properly. You love ingredient trade out day. Yes, Brenda. Me too. I do, because it's one of my biggest victories. Yeah. So, Kathy, this is what I will say. Okay. If you are insulin resistant, ask me if I will send you a cart that has the trio for the insulin resistance and the turmeric. Because let's talk about the core conversation. Insulin resistance, literally, now I'm going to kind of speak about what you're saying about arthritis I'm not a doctor, okay? But if arthritis is coming from a lot of inflammation and you need to get your inflammation down, you need to get your sugars and your insulin down. You've got to get that down, and you've got to get your liver functioning so that it can detox better than it normally does. That's what your liver does. Your liver governs your hormones. It governs your blood glucose levels. It helps you to metabolize your fat, girls. Hello. And Matt, by the way, if you haven't already, make sure anybody that goes on and orders, at the top of the page, there's a person icon. Register with your name and check the box for the perks so you can get the $4.99 shipping. Okay. And free shipping is over $139. Like, get the perks. Anyway. And then I'll send you a thank you card and a sample too. But get the inflammation down, and then think about the turmeric, because the turmeric that's what that's for. Like, turmeric would be your natural, if you can get it into your system, it's your natural over-the-counter IB. Wink, wink. Like, no claim, but I'm just telling you it's an anti-inflammatory property herb, right? That's what turmeric is. And so that can be very helpful. So that's what I would recommend, Kathy, the trio plus the turmeric, just because you got to start with the base. When I started to study this, I was shocked at how insulin resistance is connected to everything, from leaky gut, bad gut, fatty liver, PCOS, gout in your feet, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Like, what is going on? Why are we not having this conversation? If this is where we're at, if it's the post that's holding everything up, why aren't we dealing with this? And why isn't that being talked about? It's just crazy. That fresh cracked black paper, it does, but when there's an extract, it's not necessary, Beth, but that is a good point. Yes. Oh, so I was going to say about the skincare stuff. The ingredients that they grow on their organic farms that they are putting into their supplements, they're putting into the skincare. It's literally called skin nutrition. So that's why there's such a good benefit from that. Just to let you know. Some people are really they want their skincare to be good too, right? You're getting your mom and you're both on this as you have kidney problems, diabetes, run on her side, dad's side, because we are Native American. Matt, I want your testimony, okay? I really, really do. Oh, Arnelda, you love what you hear. Good to see you. Carla, good to see you. Hi, everyone. Good to be here, she says. Matt, that's wonderful. And register with your name if you didn't, if you currently didn't register with your name when you're ordering, please do, whatever. I want to be able to send you a note. Okay. And that way I can also put you into my texting thread, and my texting thread will give you like instructions on how to take stuff. Like I want people to have all of the information. Kristen, you're making my day, Kristen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know. And I forget to say things when I'm on TikTok, like, tap the like button, follow, share it out. So it goes out to the FYP. I forget to say things like that most of the time. Okay, Matt. And where do you live, Matt? I'd love to know, like, what state are you living in? And that's so interesting because I actually resonate a lot with people who are Hispanic, obviously Italian because I'm Italian, but I've never had somebody tell me that they're Native American. And so that's interesting. But now that you say that, I do live in Minnesota. So there are a lot of Native American different tribes in different areas in, Minnesota and the Dakotas. And so now that you say that, it's almost like, why haven't I thought of that before? Because I do know that there's a lot of type 2 in the Native American community. Tennessee. I attract people from Tennessee. I don't know what that is. It's interesting to me. I'm going to be honest. I love that. My girlfriend moved to Tennessee and she loves it so much. Delaware Nation citizen. You are a registered Cherokee citizen and a Delaware Nation citizen. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Matt. Colioka, Tennessee. Did I say it right, Matt? Colioka? That's very cool. So I would love your testimony. I would love that. And are you already type 2, Matt? I would like to know that also. So, okay. Does anybody have any questions? Today is day number 2. Carla was saying she's excited. Number 2 of the 5-day challenge. Sorry, that's so noisy. Oh, I got it. Nobody ever gets it. Okay, you have type 2. Okay. Make sure that you're paying attention to your sugars, okay? Because when something works, you don't want to be going too low, okay? So I'm just going to say that. Colioka. I love that. You're 36 and you're on dialysis with type 2. God bless you, Matt. Dialysis is a tough journey. It is. And yep. God bless you. The skincare is amazing, Lisa says. I know it is. I kind of am a little bit biased. I definitely, when I was homeschooling my children, put it this way, I was not spending money on skincare. So now I'm really, really happy it's a part of my business. Because now I'm like, well, as a good business owner, I'm going to use my own skincare. You watch me every time you do your dialysis, Matt. Oh, Matt, you're going to make me cry. It was a really hard journey to watch my dad on dialysis, right? So, wow. For you to say that I brighten your day, Matt, really means a lot. There are parts of me that wish that I could have helped my dad, but I didn't know any of this back then. And, dialysis, it's a big deal. And I don't know, I would never say that I could help somebody get off of dialysis. That's a very tall Empire State Building claim. I would never say that. I would never want somebody to have false hope of anything. And I don't know anybody's situation in that, but what I do know is that my dad, he didn't feel good when he was on dialysis a lot, and he fought through that. So I've got to pull myself together. That was probably the most impactful. Thank you so much, you guys. That was the most impactful statement somebody has said to me, because dialysis was a big part of that universe. So, wow, I've got to pull this together. Wow. Whoo, Matt. Thank you so much, Matt. Give you hope to save others and your family from this. It really ticks me off, you guys. It's an authentic place in my heart. It makes me really mad that this is not a terminal diagnosis and they can't help us more. This is really stupid. It's really dumb that we chase endocrinologists and doctors and providers, and they can't give us simple information on how to change out ingredients properly. Like, how stupid is this? How can they be so smart that they can perform surgery and do all sorts of things, but they can't tell us how to stop spiking our sugars when we eat food? It's so dumb to me. And it just is like, it steals the function of people's lives. It steals your function. When I wake up in the morning and I don't ache at 59 and I don't have type 2, and all I'm doing is I'm taking supplementation. This is literally all I'm doing. And that's the answer. Oh, I shouldn't say it that way. That's making a claim. I don't mean that. That was the answer for me in my story. Come on. Stop the insanity. I understand that the conversation, I have to get a Kleenex. Hold on just a second. Oh, you guys, you're getting me today. You're so getting me. Okay. I'm back. I know it's all about money. It's such a simple conversation. And I get, like, anytime somebody lands on my content and you're willing to listen and you're willing to, like, become your own advocate, my heart just soars, because I know the level of skepticism. I know the level of, people that are out there just selling whatever, just to whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like TikTok shop and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that that's bad. If I could figure it out, I'd sell something on TikTok shop too, because I like one of the magnesiums over there. But anyway, and the Ninja Creamy now, but I would have to figure that out. Doesn't matter. But I'm just saying there's so much skepticism. There's so much of a wall up, right? Because we don't know who's telling us the truth and who's not. So I'm always very honored when people actually, like, just trust. And it's like, listen, if it's not for you, it's okay. There's a 6-month return on all of the products. Like, that's okay. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at other people's testimonies that I have in Guide 4 in the group or on the Instagram page in the pink highlight bubble. Go take other people's testimonies and apply them for yourself. And if it doesn't work, gosh, you know what? I am sorry. Like, I want things to work for people, right? Now, some people, they give up too soon. That is one factor. Some people are completely unwilling to ever change their foods. You can't be drinking Mountain Dew all day and expect supplements to fix it. So, and then some people it just takes longer. Like, if Dr. Eric Berg is saying that it can take you a year to bring your morning sugars down, your dawn phenomenon, if he's saying that it could take you a year to bring down your blood pressure, then you've got to find a place inside of yourself that, number one, gives yourself grace and gives yourself patience, and find a way to have a longer term thought process over this journey. Okay. And maybe, for Matt, who is on dialysis, you know what? Maybe you can just be really thankful that you're not on dialysis. And then stop expecting magical things to happen in, 2 days. Like, that's not how this works. You're lifting up the hood of your entire engine. And it's the very basis and foundation of what's going on. It literally is leading to everything. And so while you and me, because it was about 20 years for me, while my insulin was going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and it's not showing up in your sugars yet, but you're having a hard time with your weight. You've got all these signs. You're hangry. You're chasing carbs. You're exhausted. You're not sleeping at night. You're getting skin tags and skin discoloration, all these symptoms and signs. And yet the doctor is still telling you that your sugars are normal. It's because they haven't shown up yet. It's the next step. So while that's happening and you have to turn things back and there's this healing journey, like, why not just say, okay, where do I want to be by the end of this year? Let me be consistent. I'm going to throw these all over my floor if I'm not careful. If I don't close that up, let me be consistent. Let me find a discipline. This is easy. This is hard. This is hard. Harder. It just takes time. Give yourself some time. Okay. And like, in a year, like, what if you have function? Lisa said she was in a wheelchair and now she's walking to her mailbox. Okay, so now guess what? Lisa gets to make more memories in her life. Like, that's really what this is about. You're creating a life where you can actually make memories because you can function. You're not so freaking filled with brain fog and exhaustion that you can't see straight. Does that make sense? It makes so much sense when I teach. I explain it so well. Thank you. Kim, amen. 9-year cancer survivor and nobody talked nutrition with me. God, come on. God bless you, Kim. So grateful that you are a survivor. So grateful. Yeah, Ruth. Lisa, that is so wonderful, she says. If you all listen to her, I will say she is telling you the truth. I have been listening for a while, and she's telling you all the God's honest truth about things. Matt, you're amazing. You're not craving any more, Ruth. Yes. Truth, great results in the first 6 weeks. Now excited for a plateau to break. Yes. But feeling amazing. It's all about yep. Oh, good to see you, Ruth. Good to see you, Ruthie. I was crying. I don't know if you missed the crying. I was crying. Taking my life to a whole new level, people. You guys are really something else. I'm telling you, you're really something else. Anyway, so I'm just going to encourage you again. Like, and Matt, I'm sorry, I don't have a group for men. I'm sorry that I don't. But who did you say you're getting? Have your mom get in the group. Have your mom get in the group. Or Matt, you can get in the group. I'll let you in the group. Shh, don't tell anybody. If I see your name come through, you can get in the group. I do a 5-day challenge every month. This is our 15th one. And I do that because that's the way that I can resource you and equip you, like with simple things, that I traded out my ingredients. That's what we're going to talk about today. Tomorrow, I'll do a pantry and a fridge reveal. And then Thursday, we'll talk about targeted supplements. And then Friday, we'll make a recipe. And we do this every single month because then you actually have something that you can look towards, take in, grab a nugget, finish off your month, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. And the reason why that's such a big deal is because otherwise, I have to do a puzzle piece on TikTok there. Otherwise, you will potentially feel alone. You'll stay stuck in your head. And then I'm also going to start taking you guys through this book, Self-Sabotage No More. I don't have a link for it or anything like that. You can just go buy it on Amazon. Jenny Potter is her name. And I feel like this is a really understanding this myself, for my own childhood and my own Italian roots and whatever. I know what that feels like. And so I want to take you guys through that book somehow in the, Kim, you're soaking in the info. Marissa, you're trying to order and you were wondering if you have a discount coupon for the group. I don't, Marissa. I wish I did. They haven't released us yet to do discounts like that. So this is what I tell people. If you want free shipping, order 2 months. Okay. And that way you'll get the free shipping. That helps a little bit. Although they just lowered the shipping, they just made your life so much better. The shipping is $4.99. So that's not too bad. And I'm trying to think right now, they still have a point system where you'll get points for your products and then you can cash them in. In the future, this is what I do with my customers, just to let you know. There's an auto ship that people can be on. It's not required to get anything. You can get double points, and that program is sunsetting. It's done September 23rd. However, with an auto ship, you can get double points currently. And then you can cash those in. That's going to go away because they're bringing in this amazing free ship, the $4.99 shipping, etc. However, people who use the auto ship, which is called a ditto, I take all of my customers every month, and I've been doing this for months and months and months. I put them into a hat, and every month I give away a free full-size product because I want to reward my loyal customers in that way. So now this last month, what I did was I talk about the purple packet a lot, which are, I take these adaptogenic herbs with my B vitamins. It's an ultra focused purple packet. There's a packet for immunity that has echinacea and vitamin C in it. I gave away a full box of that. So if you look up on the website immunity, you can even see what the retail price is on that. And I gave that away last month. So that's one way that I do try to bonus my customers, so to speak, because I don't have discount codes and I wish that I did. They have a spot for it, but we just they don't exist yet. So it's not something we can plug in yet. I'm hoping that we do. Do any supplements increase estrogen? Can't increase estrogen. You are on a blocker. You're welcome, Marissa. And if you have any questions, always, my phone number is available for you on my profiles. And you can always text me and say, hey, I was on your live and you talked about this. Will you send me a cart or will you answer this question? So let me just see here. I have a thought process on that for the estrogen. I want to see for myself. I never want to give out just mamsy-pamsy information. Yeah, so the fenugreek is one. That's in the turmeric. Okay, so basically, and we used to have a black cohosh, but I don't anymore. So they're talking a lot about chasteberry, fenugreek. My fenugreek is in my turmeric, dung quai, black cohosh, red clover. Let me see here. That's such a good question. And I'm assuming that's because you had cancer, that you were on a blocker. I'm missing comments. That book is amazing. Yes. You're welcome, Kathy. Your mom is a doctor and she listens to me now? Are you kidding me? That's hysterical. Oh, Sherry. Thank you for being so real. That's crazy. Ordering the trio and the turmeric, anything else you should order? It depends on what you're looking to accomplish. I'm going to be really honest. So again, I have an entire line. So I talk to people about a few different things. Like for instance, if you're not taking a vitamin D, like a D3K2, you don't have to buy synthetic vitamin D from your local drugstore. My vitamin D3K2 is sourced from mushrooms and it's 30 cents a day. It's ridiculous. And so I always talk about that. I talk about ashwagandha if somebody has high cortisol. That's a really good one. Turmeric is the other one. You already said that. But the way that I help people customize the most is I'll say, what are the symptoms that you're having a hard time with? Because it causes so many symptoms. And then we can reverse engineer that. The other one too, well, there are two. One is carb blocker. That's one that I talk about a lot because sometimes you're like me and you're having a hard time transitioning your carbs. And then the very last thing that I would recommend is they just launched a gut primer. That is coming in the mail to my house right now. And I'm very excited. It's a powder. It's a 30-day supply, but it has a prebiotic. It has fermented greens. It has, and somebody just got it and they already reported back to me that it tastes good. It has a postbiotic, because if your gut is messed up, then you're not taking in nutrients like you need to be. And you have to start reversing the whole situation. So those are just my top recommendations in general. You're not kidding. That's so funny. That's crazy, Matt. That's crazy. So tell her to get in the group, or you, or whatever. Yeah, that's great. That is great. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? So 2:00 Central Standard Time, I'll be live in the group with my Be Defiant cap. And we're going to talk about ingredient trade outs and kind of like where I was and how I started and then where I went from there. Okay. Because I was raised on Crisco and white flour. Like, I get this. I understand this conversation. Yes. Good, Matt. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. So anyway, and then tomorrow we'll do the pantry and the fridge, and I'll try not to cry tomorrow. How does that sound? That's a good gig right there. All right. All right. I don't see anything else. So I'm going to go and get my morning going with answering people. If you've put anything, gotten into my inbox in Instagram or my messenger on Facebook. TikTok, you have to jump over to the portal of Instagram. You can follow me first of all, so you don't lose me into the algorithm universe. And then you can touch my face up here and it'll come up again. And you can it'll take you out of the live. But there's a number there that you can text me and say I was on your live and I want information on, or hearts, or like send me a cart or whatever if you have a question. Or you can touch the Instagram icon and jump over to Instagram. Instagram is where the testimonies are on the pink highlight bubble. Or if you're in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, you can search it. Tell them Kirsten sent you. And 2:00 Central Standard Time, I'll go live in there today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. We'll finish up the challenge, and then I will figure out how I'm going to start taking you guys through this book, Self-Sabotage No More, just as a mindset help. Let's do something now in August before the fall comes. And if you're anything like me, the minute that you feel that chilly air, you want to eat a squash or something that's very comforting or a pumpkin pie. And so if we can get a handle on things now, we can navigate that better. And before I go, in the group, search pumpkin roll. You'll be happy that you did. You're welcome. I did that last year, and that was really good. So, all right. I am now in the crier club. Oh, you missed it, Loma. Loma, it was a good day. I'm just telling you, you'll have to go back and watch the rerun. So funny. It's very meaningful, though. Very meaningful. Thank you. Oh, Anna, thank you for all the roses. You're amazing. All right. You missed it. I just think that's really funny. What not to take if you're on an estrogen blocker? I don't know about that. We were talking, Loma, about she actually wants to increase her estrogen. So you will. Okay. Yes, I love you back, Loma. But we were basically talking about ingredients that are helpful for raising estrogen. And that's actually why sometimes it's, the opposite for people who are trying to lower their estrogen. Like, we have too high of estrogen usually, but when you've been on a blocker, yes. So, and you know what? I'm going to do some research on that, even on my own website. And I'm going to see how I can help in general in that way, because that's now that very much interests me, that question. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. I will not apologize. You look forward to seeing me again. And you texted me. Fantastic. You guys are freaking amazing. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. if you're not in the group at 2:00 Central Standard Time. Have a good day, you guys.